there's a person going to talk about Emmett Fitzgerald, and as a person from Michigan, I want to make sure this person doesn't piss no one off.
Oh my God damn it! You were sitting on a green.
So in a little bit, I will look and see if he did good or not. If he doesn't do good, then we're gonna people yelling at him. Also, I will be fishing B-Stars later on today, guys. I just have to finish the book up. That's it. I got half it done with. So who knows? Maybe I'll finish it up tonight or tomorrow. So we'll stay on until he does the Fitzgerald video and stuff like that. So yeah.
I want to kill him. Oh, fire truck.
Oh, I like this one.
Okay. Where is he going? He's like code 2 right now.
I don't know. Is he someone on Porcopio?
Is he drunk?
Okay, 1 King 27.
Only units hot pursuit of a fire truck.
Now south on Route 1, right in front of the ammunition. I'll be lighting up a rebel driving in the middle of, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's behind he's in the parking lot, just next to the ammunition and behind the fire department.
10 more. You need 32s?
Yeah. Blacked out, and I think it's like by one time. Yeah, it is.
I blacked out in
Oh,
daytime.
I got you.
Yep.
1 King 8 1.
No, he just has all that tint.
Oh, got it.
All that tint.
All dat 10.
All that tint.
Classic. Gotta have.
Hello, sir. My name is Officer Fabiano with the Polito Bay Police Department.
Oh, it's a 9.
That's unrelated.
Oh, God damn it. It's a sim.
It's a sim.
Oh, I warned him not to come out here.
You're pretty good.
Yeah, I heard.
Jesus.
I heard Black Hollow go, you want a traffic stop? And I was like, wait a second.
He's all over there, so I could tell him to head out to Blaine County and do his stuff.
Yeah, he was driving in the middle like a drunk asshole. We should
What
probably
a
just nail
shame.
him. Jeez.
What is this fire truck doing?
I do see that. Oh, he's all over the road.
He's
Creating
all
the
over. He's
aesthetic
like
of-
going code 2. And he's like drunk.
Is it AI or is that?
I guess I should light him up.
Yeah.
We'll be behind you. I witnessed that, so. I'm with Jeff. We're right behind you.
Okay.
Oh my God! Trailer is. Oh shit. Okay.
Pull
Full
forward.
department's on scene.
Pull forward. More to the curb. Keep going.
Oh, I love that light pattern on that Explorer. Fuck.
It looks so good.
It does.
I'm
You're
just
just probably
go
gonna
ahead
crash staring at this shit.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just pull off.
Yeah,
You guys enough units.
Okay.
Yeah. You let me know if there's anything you guys need.
Yeah, I think this guy's like 1055 or something. For sure.
It's possible.
Oh, jeez. This trailer's bouncing all over the place.
Well, window to window that shit, or are you gonna go somewhere else, Jeff?
Oh yeah, we can go with that.
Wait.
Keep an eye on this nonsense over here.
Yeah. I'll just have to flip around if something goes down.
Yep.
No big deal.
Sir. Hello, sir. I'm Trooper Bugs with the San Andreas Highway Patrol.
Ooh, I better get.
You
Oh, I need to get that. Oh, that was just not proper on YouTube. Which I really don't. YouTube. YouTube. You don't need credit.
Mom, you can't get a job. The last time you lived at home alone, you turned the house into a giant puppet.
Hey, stay out of here. Hey, nobody better come in here. I'm the Griffin's house. Bring me a tool set, or I'm hungry.
So, how's everyone doing today? Alright, get ready for his shit. Okay, it's a premiere, so.
Namari! Let's finish this. Wait, I know what you're thinking, but this story is different.
On March 5th,
Our lands have been at war. Ready the royal army for my daughter's command. I won't let you down. Something tells me you're not besties. The girl Ryan and I are gonna fix the world. I wanna help you. Go, go!
Maya and the Last Dragon, meeting PG and Peters, reported on Disney Plus with Premier Access March 5th.
Every road you've never traveled. Every dress you've never worn.
35 right now.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Sam with Historic Travels, and as always, I'd like to take a quick moment to welcome all my new subscribers and to thank everybody who's leaving me comments and messages down below. Thank you guys, I really appreciate it, and some of the comments and video ideas I've been getting have been absolutely incredible. So everybody, please keep up the good work. And if you're new here, smash that like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. It really helps out a lot. And I do have one last announcement I do need to make. I actually did create a Patreon page for the Historic Travels YouTube channel. So if you would like to check that out and help support the channel a little bit more, there is a link for that down below. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. All right. Now, this is going to be another what if or discussion video on what would have Titanic had done if the sinking had played out a little bit differently. And for those of you who are wondering, Edmund Fitzgerald is coming, so please don't worry about that.
That's today.
Later this week sometime.
Yeah,
right,
today.
the topic for this video. As we all know, Titanic struck an iceberg on the starboard side below the waterline.
So yeah, in a little bit, guys, we'll have this video coming out. Okay, so he lives somewhere else. Because right now it says 1:30 a.m. his time, which is not correct. That means he must live in the UK. Because here in the US, because I live in the east, I live in the east coast of the US. Okay, he must live in the UK. What time is it in London, England?
The time in London, UK is 1:17 a.m.
So he must live in UK because right now it is 1:17 his time. It is right now 8:17. Right now it's 20:17 p.m. here. It is 01:17 a.m. where he lives. So he must be based in the UK because right now it is 2018 our time, or correction, to 8:18 p.m. Eastern time. I live on the East Coast, okay? So we go by New York. I live in Michigan, okay? Most of Michigan goes by Michigan time, which is actually East Coast time, which is New York City time. Only 2 counties in the state of Michigan are an hour behind us, but that's in upstate Michigan, which is about 5-6 hours from here by car. I live in Michigan, so I go mostly by East Coast time. If you're talking about Chicago, you're in the back behind us by 1 hour, but over here, Michigan, and Indiana, Ohio, Florida, and some other states like that are all mostly East time. Part of Michigan, part of Indiana are Central time, but most of Michigan is East time zone. Only part is not is the right part of the state, but yeah. So about 10 minutes, we have this video coming out, which we are going to be watching on the channel. I'm going to react to this video. I have not seen it yet. It's starting real soon, so I'm going to see it and see how it is. I am kind of curious how this guy's going to do it because this is kind of a touchy subject for Michigan, and if you do it wrong, you get roasted. You can get your butt roasted pretty hard. I'm just going to warn you. You screw up, you're going to regret it. because that's decided to have a touchy subject in the state.
Because it's the cheesiest. Kraft. For the win-win.
I mean, no offense, but it's kind of a touchy subject for us.
You always turn to family. The birds, their family, they're good at what they do.
They're family. They're Michigan's first.
So if you screw up, you're gonna have a lot of people mad at you. And after this video, we're going to go back to B-Stars. So I'm just kidding, guys. After this video's over with, I'll go back to B-Stars.
Angie, you okay? You sounded weird on the phone, so I came to Angie. He did it again, didn't he? Oh, Angie, you just I don't have the words, but
I was feeling pretty.
what?
I was feeling pretty.
Oh,
I bought that dress. Thought it looked cute. I can't. It's my choice.
it's not.
So like I said, guys, in a little bit, what the hell? Ooh! So in a little bit, we'll start.
Hello, INP. He's more like a meth-addicted homeless woman you let man the boat.
Boogie, I'm salad in the fridge. I'm taking it because I have the worst hangover right now.
Oh, sit on a dick, Moxie. You know why.
She's sensitive.
Yes, I am.
I got you.
San Andreas, El Guido. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, El Guido. In 7 minutes, already 101 people are ready to watch this video.
Sweet, sticky, bud fresh off the plantation. Here, pull up here. Let me do the talking. Man, I should have known. Hey, excuse me, Jose. Yo soy El Grande Smokio, and I want that grass. Comprende? Hey, fuck you, cabrón. What? Now that ain't nice. Coffee, yo, up El Guido before I blow your brains out all over the patio. Now that ain't nice. Coffee, yo, up El Guido before I blow your brains out all over the patio.
6 minutes, 104 people ready to watch this video. But when it comes out, guys, I'll cut this off and see what it is because I haven't seen it yet. Rockstar North presents Rockstar. Rockstar Games presents a Rockstar North production.
Kid, what can I do for you? You again? Yeah, it's good to see you back. You're all the same, Carl. Somebody steps on me, I gotta step on you. Everybody glance on food first, then ask questions second. You know, after what you've done for me, I got double agents of Panama. I want to put a price on your dinner. Oh, Paddock behaves the way the bad karma.
Spring 2021. So 2001. 2021.
Tommy! Been too long. This is a disaster. We are so screwed. That was my money, Tommy! My money! Shut up. Sit down. 5-hour energy helps you get stuff done. And now
4 minutes, so we can start watching this. After we're done watching this, I will. So this is a reaction video, guys. I haven't seen this yet, so this is a reaction video. This guy named whatever, I'm not gonna say what his name is because of reasons, and see how he does about this video because he does good. Then after this, I will do something else. I will be doing a reaction video to this because I haven't seen it yet. It's a premiere. And then that's it. $99 loop balloons. So in about 4 minutes, 123 people are ready to watch this video. That's it. $120 people are ready to watch this video. Keep. Okay, 128 people are ready to watch this video. Okay, guys, it's almost ready to start to go. So yeah. So gotta get this set up here to this. Okay, so in about 2 minutes we'll be watching this video. Now I'm happy whoever decided to watch me watch this reaction video because I have not seen this yet. And then after this, we'll do Beastars again. Finish up Beastars. Then, yay! Then we can upload all the videos. All the videos. I have to finish up book 9. We'll finish book 9 up tonight, and who knows? May finish book tonight and upload some of the videos tonight. Who knows? I may have one of the videos get done uploaded tonight. Who knows? I'm gonna get some stuff done. So yeah, in less than 2 minutes, 103 people, 33 people are watching right now. So we're starting real soon. Right now it is 8:27 p.m. Eastern time. This starts at 1:30. It starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. This is set for UK time, 1:30 a.m. UK time. So here we go. So yeah, Q&A will be tomorrow. We're gonna have a Q&A tomorrow, guys. A lot of stuff happened last minute, so I didn't have time to, do a Q&A today. I'm trying to get some work done with today. We're gonna get book 9 done today, or tonight, or something like that. Upload the videos tonight. Then upload the videos tonight or something. And then do the thing. 146 people are gonna watch in less than a minute. So yeah, guys, we're getting ready to watch this. Right now it's currently almost 6:30 in the East, 6:30 in LA. So yeah, in about a minute or so. I don't do premieres because they just take forever to do. People agree with me. I don't do premieres because it's confusing. If I do a premiere, it's gonna be first thing in the morning. So yeah, that's what I don't do premieres for. Hundred 66 people watching this. How about we do something real quick? Like change the lighting a little bit. If you know what I mean. I'm ready for some blue light. So start soon. 166 views. Not bright enough to do what I need to do. Why about the ball was more of a joke? Here we go. About 2 minutes. Try the lamp right now and see if it works or not. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that works. There we go. The light you see behind me is the garage of the house. We have a security camera / light system out there. It's motion, so yeah. So where the light behind me is the garage camera lights. We have 2 of them out there. Then they go off. Whenever light comes on, the cameras get activated. I have this light bulb. I don't use it, so why not start using it now? There we go. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 2. That bulb's kind of cool looking if you think about it. It's kind of cool looking.
An air and sea search is continuing for possible survivors of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 729-foot ore carrier, which apparently broke apart and sunk last night on Lake Superior. The ship and its 29-man crew vanished in the storm with 80-mile-an-hour winds and wave heights up to 25 feet. All of it has been
If he's gonna see the song, it's all right.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Sam with Historic Travels, and as always, before we get started today, I'd just like to take a quick moment to welcome all my new subscribers and to thank everybody who's leaving me comments and messages down below. Thank you guys, I really appreciate it. And some of the comments and video ideas I've been getting are absolutely
be careful how he does
incredible.
this.
So, seriously, guys, keep up the good work. There are some killer video ideas there, so I'm going to hope to tackle as many of those ideas as I can. So everybody, keep up the good work. And if you're new here, please smash that like button and please subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you guys, I really appreciate it. And all right, guys. Well, hey, the time has finally come. Everybody here has been asking me about this video topic for a long time, and, well, we're finally doing it. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the most famous shipwreck stories from the United States of America. And it would be the wreck of a famous ship known as the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Gotta be careful, dude. A lot of us love the Fitz. Me especially. I actually see the Arthur Anderson before a few years prior.
Fitzgerald was a 729-foot ore carrier, which broke apart and sunk on November 10, 1975, in a body of water known as Lake Superior. The ship and all 29 crew on board vanished in the storm with 80-mile-an-hour winds, and not a single survivor ever turned up. So this ship quickly became infamous as one of the most famous and mysterious shipwreck stories in the United States of America. Now, before we can really dive into what happened to the Edmund Fitzgerald and why it's as famous and as mysterious as it is, we first need to go over some of the backstory of the ship and talk about the area in which the ship was sailing, because all of these things are very important aspects to understand in order to fully grasp what happened to the Edmund Fitzgerald. The Edmund Fitzgerald was built in the late 1950s.
59.
Its primary role was to serve as an oil carrier, delivering its cargo to and from all ports surrounding the Great Lakes region of the United States. The Great Lakes are 5 massive bodies of water that border the northeastern part of the United States and the southeastern part of Canada. These massive lakes are all connected to each other by a series of rivers and canals where freighters like the Edmund Fitzgerald used in order to traverse these massive bodies of water, taking their cargo from one port to another. This map is a basic overview of the route that the Edmund Fitzgerald was going to take on its last voyage. You see, the Edmund Fitzgerald started in Superior, Wisconsin, and it was going to traverse the entire Lake Superior region, cross through a small river canal, and cross over into
Sulak.
Huron, eventually concluding its voyage at a mill in Detroit. Now, the Edmund Fitzgerald had a very long career. It was in service for just around 17 years. And at that time, she got a really, really good reputation between the people who served on the ship, consistently breaking records for like the heaviest freight carried. She set some speed records on the Great Lakes. She was a very, very well-built and very well-liked ship. All right, so now we're going to jump ahead to November of 1975. This is where the Edmund Fitzgerald went down, and we're going to talk about in detail the very, very last voyage that the Edmund Fitzgerald went on and what eventually most likely caused the ship to sink. The Edmund Fitzgerald's last voyage began on November 9, 1975. She was docked in Superior, Wisconsin, and while in port, she took on 50,000 gallons of fuel, and she was loaded up with 26,000 tons of iron ore pellets that were going to be delivered to a mill near Detroit. Now, it's very important when you load cargo this heavy that the ship is properly loaded and that the ship sits level in the water. So what they did was they used this indicator light, and if the light was located in the center, it means that the Edmund Fitzgerald is sitting level in the water. If the light is leaning to one side or the other, that means that the ship is either listing to port or starboard, so they need to reposition the cargo in order to make the ship level. The final stage of the loading process for the Edmund Fitzgerald was to secure all of the ship's cargo holds with these massive steel plates. These massive steel plates each weigh 7 tons each, and then once they are set onto the ship over the cargo bays, they are secured with 68 clamps. Now, each of these clamps had to be tightened manually, and they ensure that the steel plate will not move while the ship is at sea, and it makes the cargo hold watertight, because any water getting into these very heavily loaded cargo holds, where the ship is already heavily loaded and extremely heavy, any water getting inside the cargo hold could be disastrous for the ship. It only took around 6 hours to fully load the Edmund Fitzgerald, and at just a little bit past 2 in the afternoon on November 9, 1975, the Edmund Fitzgerald left port for the last time, beginning its eastbound voyage across Lake Superior. Captain McSorley was the captain of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and he was also a veteran at sailing on the Great Lakes with over 40 years' experience. The captain with his crew of 28 men were pretty much experts at sailing on the Great Lakes. They knew what they were doing, they worked well as a team, they weren't afraid to have a little bit of fun and goof off every now and then, but they were very serious and they were expert at sailing these ships. So you could not ask for a better team to try to successfully guide the Edmund Fitzgerald across the lake to its destination. Now, right around the same time, the Edmund Fitzgerald,
I seen Arthur Anderson.
Another cargo ship called the Anderson was also leaving port. This ship would later become famous as the last cargo ship to be in contact with the Fitzgerald before she went down. The captain of the Anderson's name was Bernie Cooper, and he was in radio contact with the Edmund Fitzgerald through a good chunk of the voyage. So essentially what was going to happen was the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Anderson, the Edmund Fitzgerald being about 10 miles ahead, were essentially going to play follow the leader, as both of these cargo ships tried to traverse Lake Superior. However, right around the same time the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Anderson were leaving port, 2 volatile air masses were about to converge over top of Lake Superior, unleashing nature's fury on the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Anderson. And while the captains of the 2 ships didn't know this at the time, by the time the storm was over, only one of the 2 cargo ships would still be afloat on top of Lake Superior. Several hours into the voyage, the captain of the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Anderson both received their first weather warning. They saw that they had a gale warning, and they had massive wind speeds of estimated to be around 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, and seas running up to 10 feet in height, which means really, really big waves are going to be hitting the ship. So what they decided to do, they did 2 things. They left the shipping lanes in Lake Superior and went further north, hoping that the northern shoreline would help shield them from the worst of the storm.
Caribou Island.
And they also began to lock down everything, meaning they made sure all the doors and windows were shut. They secured any loose objects that could be, move around or cause damage to the ship. They basically got these ships storm ready. Now, these storm warnings weren't unusual. Both captains had tons of experience sailing on the Great Lakes. They knew what they were doing. At this point, it was just business as usual, as both captains of both ships tried to brace their ships for what the storm was about to unleash on them. This map shows the new course that both the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Anderson decided to take. As you can see, they
Caribou
Mountain
Mountain.
further north, and they tried to hug the shoreline of the lake a little bit in hopes that the land would help shield the ships from the oncoming storm. But as the Fitzgerald and the Anderson continued on this new course, the storm got much worse than was originally predicted. The wind was at times blowing over 100 miles per hour, and the seas had reached over 20 feet, battering the ship, rocking it back and forth, knocking things loose, and wreaking havoc on board the Edmund Fitzgerald. Now, around noon the next day, the weather wasn't getting any better. It was just consistently getting worse. So on November 10th, both ships were fighting horrible winds, massive waves were beating over the top of the ship. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible conditions. Now, at this time, both ships needed to turn south. Now, as they were heading further south, they were coming dangerously close to an island called Caribou Island. And there was a dangerous reef located in that area called 6 Fathom Shoal. Now, the Anderson was further out to sea than the Fitzgerald, but they were watching the Fitzgerald by radar. And they warned the captain they were dangerously close to 6 Fathom Shoal, which is essentially an area of water that has a bunch of razor-sharp rocks really close to the surface that could rip the bottom of a ship apart. He noticed that on his radar, the Edmund Fitzgerald was just 9 feet away from those rocks. Now, once the Fitzgerald cleared that chain of rocks and got away from that area, the captain of the Fitzgerald reported his first real problem. Around the time the Edmund Fitzgerald was passing Caribou Island and this dangerous reef, the conditions on board the ship were horrible. They were fighting 16 to 20-foot waves, and visibility was almost
cooking for them.
Beginning to snow. The Anderson could only locate the Edmund Fitzgerald at this point by radar. After the Fitzgerald had cleared Caribou Island, as I said before, the Edmund Fitzgerald and the Anderson's captain were in constant communication with each other. This is when the Edmund Fitzgerald's captain reported the first signs of trouble. He said a few of his fences had come off of the ship in the waves and the storm. He said he had a few vents that were blown off. Two of his vents had got knocked off, and he developed a starboard list. So, to me, there is no real proof of this, but I think since this happened right after he passed Caribou Island, I think the bottom of the Fitzgerald, I think it grounded on a few rocks. I think this is just the ship model I've got. I think as the ship was fighting the waves and bouncing around, I think the bottom of the Fitzgerald actually hit a rock, and then it kept on going. So I think the ship actually had damage to her hull, and that would explain the starboard list. Now, the extent of the damage isn't really known, and this is just a theory. But the captain of the Fitzgerald said that he had his pumps on trying to deal with the list, but the list wasn't getting any better, and it wasn't getting any worse. So that means that the pumps on the ship were actually pushing out the water just as fast as the water was coming in. Things continued on like this for a while with the Edmund Fitzgerald, with its condition not getting any better and not getting any worse. However, after some time, the captain of the Fitzgerald radioed the Anderson, saying that his radar had been knocked out due to the horrible weather. That meant the Fitzgerald was now sailing blind through one of the worst storms in Michigan history. Now, me personally, I can't imagine a more scary position to be in, being the Edmund Fitzgerald's captain. So what he had to do in order to try to at least attempt to navigate this ship was he used the Anderson's radar to get an approximate location to where he was. And he was also looking for a lighthouse called the Whitefish Point Lighthouse.
No power, no worky.
He used the lighthouse's light in order to try to get an approximate location to where he was, so he would know where he was safe.
No power.
However, there was one big problem with his plan. You see, due to this horrible storm, the lighthouse had actually lost power. So it wasn't lit at the time that the Fitzgerald was approaching it, which meant the Fitzgerald had no radar. It had no light source on top of land in order to kind of give him a location as to where he was. So the captain of the Fitzgerald was no joke, sailing blind through that horrible storm with only the radar of the Anderson that was about 10 miles behind him to give him a general location as to where he was. Now, around 6:30, 6:40 p.m., the storm unleashed its full fury on the two ships. You see, the Anderson, which at this point was just a few miles behind the Fitzgerald, and of course couldn't see it due to zero visibility, was slammed by two massive 30-foot waves, just rocked the ship. Now remember, the Anderson is still in relative good condition, so it was able to withstand the impact of these waves okay. However, with the Edmund Fitzgerald and the condition it's in, it's possible that waves like what slammed into the Anderson are what doomed the ship. I think those two 35-foot waves signaled the end for the Edmund Fitzgerald. Now, those two waves that hit the Anderson weren't the ones that doomed the ship. You see, the Anderson was hit around 6:30, but it continued to have contact with the Fitzgerald for some time after that. What I'm saying is, I think one of those massive waves slammed into the Fitzgerald, and that's inevitably what doomed the ship, due to the horrible condition that the ship was already in. You see, about a half hour or so after the Anderson was slammed with these two waves, The Edmund Fitzgerald captain, it's roughly 7:10 p.m. at this point, radioed the Anderson and asked him to check his position. The Anderson reported in, and then the captain of the Anderson said, "How are you guys doing?" The captain of Fitzgerald said, "We are holding our own." And then that was it. That was the last contact the Anderson had with the Edmund Fitzgerald. There was no call of distress. There was no mayday. There was nothing. It's just right after the captain said, "We're holding our own," the Edmund Fitzgerald disappeared. Now, both the captain of the Anderson and the captain of the Fitzgerald were both trying to get their ships to Whitefish Point on the eastern side of Lake Superior. And the captain of the Anderson did succeed in getting his ship there. Now, while he was working on getting his ship out of the storm, he was also talking to the Coast Guard, letting him know he couldn't find or see the Fitzgerald anymore. So at this point, a search was planned and put underway in order to locate the missing ship. It took several days for them to find the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And in the time they were searching for the ship, no survivors from the vessel ever turned up. They found the ship a couple of miles from Whitefish Point. It was located in approximately 530 feet deep water. And when they found the wreck, they made a horrifying discovery about the condition of the vessel. They found that the Edmund Fitzgerald had actually split in two during the sinking, with the bow part of the ship being right side up and the stern section being completely upside down. So now people were wondering, how did this happen? How did this ship sink in such a way that no distress call was sent out? And what could cause the bow to be right side up while the stern of the ship was flipped completely upside down? Now, unfortunately, we'll never know for certain what happened to the Edmund Fitzgerald. The ship was lost with all hands, so we have no way to verify anything for certain. The only thing we can do is speculate what happened to the ship based on the condition of the wreck. Now, over the years, there have been a ton of theories as to what could have happened to the ship, but that of which I lean more towards two theories in particular. But of those two theories, there's one theory that I think is the most accurate, and I'll explain why in a second. You see, the first theory is that the ship went through what's called a stress break, meaning the ship just broke right along the middle due to the strain of the harsh conditions of the storm, the waves, and the weight of all the cargo that it was holding inside the ship. It was just too much for the hull of the ship to deal with, especially due to the fact that the Edmund Fitzgerald was taking on water. And the Edmund Fitzgerald basically just broke in half right down the middle, and then both halves separated, and the ship just went down. And that is a possibility. However, that isn't the theory that I think is the most accurate, but it is worth considering, especially because there was actually a cargo ship not that long ago that it was nowhere near the conditions that Fitzgerald was facing, but it was in very rough seas, where the cargo ship basically did just split right down the middle like that in rough water, and the ship did eventually sink. Anyway, this whole incident was actually reported, and I will actually show that clip right now.
Jeez.
What happened to that cargo ship was absolutely insane. Now, even though the conditions for that cargo ship and the Fitzgerald were very different, I think it does show one thing. I think it's interesting that, did you see with that cargo ship that broke in half, they had time to send out a mayday call. And you would think, even though the conditions with the Fitzgerald and that cargo ship were very different, that maybe the Fitzgerald would have had time to send out a mayday call too if the ship would have broke like that. You see, that's the main reason why I don't think that's what happened to the Fitzgerald. I think what happened to the Fitzgerald was instantaneous. The captain, the crew, none of them knew what was going on, and they didn't have time to react. So here's what I think happened to the Fitzgerald. I think the ship was sailing along, encountering these and dealing with these waves, and the captain was just focused on trying to keep his ship afloat. And I think it encountered a massive wave that pushed the bow of the Fitzgerald down under the water.
It did.
See, I think the captain was waiting for the ship to shoot back up and come out of the wave and come out of the water. But I think the ship was so full of water at this point that when it got pushed down, the increase in water that was coming in from it being underwater was too much for the Fitzgerald, and it lost buoyancy in the bow. And I think the bow of the ship went down and slammed into the seafloor.
It did.
From the impact of this wave. And the captain just thought, like I said, they were just going to come back up, but they never came back up. I think the bow of the ship hit the bottom, and that the current on top of the water ripped the stern off because it was sticking up out of the water. Remember, the Edmund Fitzgerald was over 700 feet long, and it's in roughly 500 feet deep water. And I think the swell and the water on top just ripped the stern off and sent both sections of the Edmund Fitzgerald to the bottom. it would be very instantaneous, and no one on board the ship would even know what was happening until it was too late.
This animation showcases what I was just talking about. You can see the Edmund Fitzgerald fighting these massive waves when the bow just drops underneath one massive wave and slams into the bottom of the lake. And then the back part of the ship, which is still above the water, is ripped off by the racing current of the ocean running around it. And then both the bow and the stern land on the bottom, just like we see on the wreck today.
So yeah, as I said earlier, I think the second theory is the one that makes the most sense to me, because if the ship went down in that manner, it would explain why no distress call is ever received from the ship. It would explain how the bow and the stern ended up in the positions they are. It would explain why we never heard anything. It would also explain, it would show why the ship disappeared the way it did, and the fact that it was instantaneous. The ship was there 1 second, then it was just gone. And to anybody on board, it would have been an instantaneous sinking. No one on board would have even known what was happening until it was too late. And yeah, that's my theory as to what happened, and that is the story of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I know this is one of my longer videos, but there was a lot of information to cover when it comes to the Edmund Fitzgerald. So thank you all for being here. And if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. And anybody watching, please give my video a like. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, everybody. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Yep.
And you all stay safe out there.
What's inside
Here,
YouTube?
I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night, everybody.
That was good. Mr. Matt is dead.
It's a top secret formula that's been around since the 1700s. They're going to unveil the curtain a little bit and show us the liquid gold